All right.
All right, we will go ahead and begin this evening with head coach Brian Kelly. Coach Kelly, if you'd like to start with an opening statement.
Yeah, it was, just for me, just watching our team handle themselves in the fourth quarter, handling themselves when there was adversity was, as a coach, those are the special moments. Yeah, we won the football game, and I'm certainly excited about that. But more so, when you watch your players exhibit resolve and exhibit grit and refuse to lose a football game against the number one team in the country that, by the way, hadn't lost in 36 regular season games, and that's the special part about coaching these guys at Notre Dame. You have the man under the jersey that's pretty special. So that's my takeaway. I know you guys want to talk about players and what this means to the program, and I'm not really interested in all that stuff. But I'll be more than willing to answer all of those questions. As a coach, you commit your vocation to this because you love seeing your players overcome what amounts to be sometimes, difficult odds, and that was fun to watch those guys. So, with that, we'll open up to questions.
All right, and as a reminder, please use the raise hand function if you have a question. Coach, your first question will be from Eric Hansen.
Coach, can you hear me okay?
I sure can.
Okay. First of all, just a couple things. One is, did you think about going for two either at the end of regulation or at the first overtime? The second thing is, your defense found this huge burst in the second overtime. Where did that come from?
Again, I think it's part and parcel to what I had mentioned earlier. Let me answer some of the questions that were asked there. I thought about it briefly. We had a 2-point play that was we felt a really good one. I thought about it. We had just worked too hard to get back into the game, and so it just didn't feel right to go for two there. But I did think about it. I just felt like we had overcome so much to get back in the game, so I did not choose to go down that road. Never did I think about going for two because you're going for two in the third. It's just not a wise decision from that perspective. And then that energy. It came from scoring, and then obviously the big first down TFL got them a lot of momentum, and I think they were riding that. And again, they have a short memory, that group, and that's kind of what I was referring to earlier. They just keep playing.
We'll go next to Patrick Engel.
Brian, what, if anything, did you tell Ian and the offense before that final drive there? What was your message to him?
No, we in the final drive, we said that we had the way we managed the clock, and they, quite frankly, gave us a little bit of help going out of bounds. We declined the penalty because we wanted the downs on that last drive where they had the football. So it allowed me to save the 2 timeouts. So all I said really was that we had plenty of time. We could throw. I told Tommy we could throw a run or two in the mix, and we were able to run the ball a couple of times, which gave us some easy looks because they were in Tampa too. And just said, Ian, you're going to win a football game. I told him that a couple of times, and kept reiterating it to him on the sideline that he was going to win the game for us, and he did.
We'll go next to Pete Sampson.
Brian, I wanted to ask you about sort of Ian coming back from the fumble in terms of what you were looking to see from him, and when you felt like, okay, he's coming through this, because obviously that was a pretty big moment.
Yeah, you know, I went up to him right away. I said, listen, we're going to need you to win this game for us. So, you know, this will come down on your shoulders, and you're going to win the game. I just stayed positive with him. Obviously, he's struggling to get in the end zone. And, you know, obviously it was a big play, but, you know, I knew there were going to be other opportunities for him. And he's shown it before. I mean, that he makes big plays down the stretch to win games. And I just felt like if we gave him enough time, he would do it again. And he did. He did it again. And he also threw for, you know, over 300 yards and, you know, again, ran our offense. You know, it just staying positive with him. And I saw it in his eyes. He looked good. He looked ready and was throwing the ball, you know, pretty good for us.
We'll go next to Dennis Dodd.
Hey, Brian, I just describe the emotion of, you know, 25% full stadium. You guys beat number one for the first time in 27 years. And one of the biggest Notre Dame traditions, you know, storming the field. Nothing was going to stop that. Were you able to drink that in at all?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I felt like the environment, our students were awesome. You know, they made it feel like a true game, even though there was only, you know, less than 15,000 in the stadium. They did their best to give us that feeling. And when they stormed the field, you got a sense of a special moment at Notre Dame. I know our players did as well. I think what made it even more special was what I had alluded to earlier, was just the resolve. And then I had told our team, and again, I'm doing a lot of things I probably shouldn't be doing, but I told our team at our walkthrough today, I said, listen, I just want you to know, when we win this thing, the fans are going to storm the field. And, you know, with COVID being as it is, we got to get off the field and get to the tunnel. Now, I beat them all to the tunnel. So that didn't go over so good, but they reminded me that I did tell them that. So my skills of prognostication was pretty good today.
We'll go next to Heather Dinich.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
So, some people watching that game might say that those were two playoff teams. What do you think?
You know, I mean, we got so much more work to do. And look, BC is going to be a challenge for us. I've got to get this football team back up, emotionally ready to play, and you know, BC's we've got a target on our backs now. So there are so many more things on my plate relative to what I have to do than really concern myself with playoffs and who's in and who's not in. There are other people that will do that because the real challenge now is to keep this football team accelerating. We've got a lot of things we got to work on that we saw today. And that will be my focus moving forward, is to get this football team ready for BC.
We'll go next to Tim OMalley.
Coach, you have to give up something defensively with all those playmakers Clemson has, but ETN, 27 yards, I believe, 28 yards, and limiting him to 57 through the air. Was he A, B, and C in your plan to just not let him get going? Obviously.
We put a lot of emphasis on him not wrecking the game. But, you know, DJ's a special player. You know, Trevor Lawrence is a special player, too. Boy, I'd like to have Dabo's problems with those two guys. I mean, he's outstanding. I mean, his ability to throw the football today was pretty special. I think we would have, if we played them again, we would have to do some things a little bit differently because he is so explosive as a quarterback.
We'll go next to Pete Byrne.
Hey, Brian, I know you've already alluded to next week already, and I know you're going to want to get your guys to bounce back and be ready, but is there at all a sense of accomplishment or excitement that you're feeling tonight that you can share, just given what you guys have been able to do tonight?
Oh yeah, we're extremely excited about the victory and beating Clemson. Look, all the narratives that are out there and whatever is said and talked about, that doesn't help you win this game. What we're excited about and what we're celebrating is that we played with an incredible focus and resolve, and those are things that we work on to try to be successful and win football games. That's what we're celebrating, because you have to keep playing and you have to show an incredible focus and determination, and that's worth celebrating when you come back and win a football game the way we did in double overtime. So we're not celebrating because we showed the world or we, changed the narrative, or we did this, because, they were the number one team in the country. We did it because we proved something to ourselves, and that's really satisfying, and that's what we're celebrating.
We'll go next to Doug Farmer.
Brian, you already discussed a bit the post-game chaos storming the field. I'd like to ask you the favor. Any other year, most of us up here would have been down there on the sideline as you head to overtime. What was the feeling, the tension, the mood on the sideline heading into that first overtime after a dramatic last minute?
It was. I thought it was very controlled. We'd lost Javon, so we were making some adjustments. Trying to, he was in the tent being evaluated for a head injury. So trying to communicate with our medical staff. They did a great job of getting information, letting us know that he wasn't available. So we had to, make some adjustments with some formations and move some people around, because he, as you know, he was our go-to guy down there, in particular in the red zone. And then just, constant communication with everybody on the sideline, of the coordinators, as to, how we were going to attack things. As you know, we ran the ball pretty effectively in overtime. I didn't want to become pass happy down there. And then we made a couple of, the last overtime, we made an adjustment on our alignments, taking away the inside slant. So, just making some adjustments, just, doing our job really, and our guys were really calm and pretty confident.
We'll go next to Pete Thamel.
Brian, you were really able to hold up on both fronts tonight. Obviously, your offensive front, especially early, was gashing big holes. Your defensive front, especially in the middle, never really flinched. When you're measuring from excellent teams to the elite, that those fronts are obviously always the key there. Does that give you some confidence going forward that you can really go toe to toe in the trenches with one of the programs that's the standard?
Yeah, I mean, we ran the ball for over 200 yards. I don't know the last time a team has given up 200 yards rushing. And we threw the ball effectively. We threw it for 300. So when you rush for 200 and you throw for 300, you're doing some pretty good things offensively. Yeah, we'd like to play a little bit better defensively in certain situations, but I think when you look at it, college football is put so much pressure on defenses that I think it's the ability to really be who you are. And as I've said, we're not going to shy away from the fact that we have to stop the run and run the football if we're going to win these kinds of games, and that's what we did today.
We'll go next to Pat Forty.
Hi, Brian. I know you guys huddled extensively tonight. And
Yeah.
I think Ian had a wristband going as well. Was that just to keep your pre-snap information secure?
That's exactly correct. We wanted to make sure that we had, about 150 to 175 plays that we wanted to make sure that we didn't signal in, and then we played fast, so there was no signaling. And again, I think from our perspective, it'll be the way that we continue to play against Clemson.
And we will wrap it up with Adam Rittenberg.
Brian, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Wanted to ask about you can't beat Clemson with field goals. That was sort of the case for much of the night. What allowed you guys to just keep that belief that you could eventually reach the end zone when you needed to at the end of regulation and certainly in overtime to get this win?
Yeah, I just think, well, a couple of things. We kept them the field goals too. If we were trading our field goals for their touchdowns, then this is a moot point, right? So I think a little bit of both, where both defenses got really stingy in the short fields. And then when we got to overtime, we just felt like we got into a pretty good rhythm. We knew that we could run the football after having a multitude of different looks. We kind of zeroed in on some things that we liked in the running game that set up our first downs much better. We had a pretty good inventory of plays, and then Ian, as you know, was able to use his legs to open up some things for us as well. I just think there was a confidence there, and Tommy was confident that we had a pretty good inventory left if we were able to run the ball effectively on first down, which in fact we did.